Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Comanche in Team Shadow Strike, and this is going to be an updated deck profile on my Thunder Empire Batzz deck. And it's a deck profile I did a while back. I recently made some changes. This deck is continuously getting better. It's getting more support. It's just, this deck is going to be forever changing, and there have been things that I have changed. There are a couple things I want to try out and pick up for this deck, but it is a deck that is exceedingly well. It's one of the best overall decks that there is right now. It is also my favorite deck to play right now. I just can't explain how much I enjoy playing bots. This deck hits like a truck, and it can OTK very easy, and that's what it can't be. It just can't get better than that. It OTKs easy, and there are just ways that you can make this deck consistent as hell. So I'm just going to get straight into this deck profile. So here we go. We have our standard Dragon World flag. I cannot wait till the Batzz flag comes out. If you have not seen it, go look at it. It looks amazing. Our buddy is still Demon Lord Dragon Batzz. 7,000 power, 2 crits, 4k defense. During your opponent's turn, cannot be destroyed, has double attack, and if you have 4 life or less, he gets plus 3,000 power and triple attack instead. Just an amazing card. For the rest of the monsters, we play our 4 copies of Demon Lord Dragon Batzz. We play 2 copies of Resurrected Art Dragon Batzz, the bots from the trial deck, mainly just because he is a double attacking monster when you have your Thunder Empire weapon equipped. When you're at 4 life or less, when you enter your battle phase, you're able to destroy one of your opponent's monsters. 1 copy of Unyielding Rampage Dragon Batzz. I want to get 3 more copies of this card and see if I do want to main 4 of it. This card is actually very, very good. It's Justice Drum as bots. Size 2 monster from 7,000. Size 2 monster with 7,000 power, 4k defense, and 3 critical. His call cost is pay 1 gauge. During your turn, this card on the field cannot be destroyed, like all bots have. His other skill is when this card attacks and destroys your opponent's monster, stand this card. So if your opponent has a monster in the center with Soul Guard, attack it. He defeats it. Soul Guard, restand. Attack it again. Restand. Attack it. Or if they have 3 monsters on the field, 1, 2, 3. And then also, if you have 4 life or less, this card's attack cannot be nullified if it's attacking alone. So if you're at 4 life or less, this card is amazing. So I want to pick up more copies of this bots for sure. Next, we play 4 copies of Misfiring Dragon Globes. I don't know where Demon came from. This is one of the best sized ones for Thunder Empire, and should be a 4 of in all the decks, in my opinion. Size 1 with 3,000 power, 1 crit, and 1k defense. His ability, Split the Reward. When a Thunder Empire monster enters the board, you get to place the top card of your deck into the gauge and draw a card. And then whenever he attacks himself, he gives +1 crit away to any card on the field. So you can give it to your double attacking weapon or just your regular weapon. You can give it to bots. Usually giving it to bots is the safe thing, because if he has double attack, he swings for 3 twice. If he has triple attack, he swings for 3 times. Next, we play 4 copies of Replenisher Pentar. Replenisher Pentar, size 1 with 3,000 power, 2 crits, and 1k defense. If you have a Thunder Empire weapon equipped, when he enters the field, draw a card. These 2 cards go really well together because you can go call, gain 1 gauge, draw 2. And then Pentar is not once per turn, so you can just continually call all your Pentars and just draw. So you can just continue to dig for your OTKs. 3 copies of Trilight of the Black Sword, size 1 with 1,000 power, 1 crit, and 1k defense. Whenever this card attacks, you may pay 1 gauge and target 1 monster on the field and destroy that card. And he also has the double attack ability, so you can use that ability more than once, which is really good. So you can use this to help clear out your opponent's field. Next, we play 2 copies of the new Thunder Empire monster we got in Thunder Empire supporting monster we got in Crossing Generations. Call cost is pay 1 gauge. His name is Famed Military Deviser Fanning. He's a size 1 monster with 2,000 power, 3 crits, and 1k defense. During your turn, all Thunder Empire cards on your field cannot be rested, nor returned to your hand by opponent's card effects. This, you might notice I didn't play Ball Soleil anymore. I cut Ball Soleil for this guy. Ball Soleil's fun, and I would definitely still consider siding him, but this guy is much more important, and these are the only 2 I have, and I want to get more of him. And then I play 1 copy of Tiny Flame Dragon Linear. Tiny Flame Dragon Linear is a better version of Boomerang Dragon for this deck. Size 0 monster with 2,000 power, 2 crits, and 1k defense. His first skill is this card can only be called to the center. A lot of people misread this as he can't be called to the center, but he can only be called to the center. And then his other skill is at the end of the battle with this card, at the end of the battle of this card, return this card to your hand. So it's another attack with 2 crits on it that's really good. And under the sword, under Arc Dragon Sword, he becomes 4,000 attack. So really, really good. So that is all our monsters. Then for items, we still play 7. We play 4 Arc Dragon Sword. This card on the field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then it gives all your Thunder Empire monsters plus 2,000 power. Its stats are 6,000 power and 2 crits. And then we play 3 copies of Dual Spark. Dual Spark is a pay 1 gauge and 1 life weapon, 5,000 power and 1 crit. It has double attack, but its one drawback is it can only attack the center. It cannot attack the left or right columns. But that is still makes this card, does not make it bad. It's actually very, very good in certain situations. Next, for our shields, we play 9 of them. We play 4 copies of Arc Dragon Shield. You can only activate this if you have a Thunder Empire monster on the field, pay 1 gauge, nullify the attack, and draw a card. So, yay, drawing cards. 3 copies of Green Dragon Shield can only be activated if your center is unoccupied, nullify the attack, and gain 1 life. And then 2 copies of Blue Dragon Shield. Nullify the attack if your center is open, and gain a gauge. So, next, for the rest of the spells in this deck, we play 4 copies of the best spell in Dragon World by far. 4 copies of Batzz X-Link. I originally was only playing this at 3, but then this card literally can steal you games because of how good it is. I cannot express to you enough. What the fuck was Bushiroad smoking when they made this card? I do not know. This is literally the best spell in Dragon World, but it might be one of the top 5 spells in the game. Because not only is this card splashable in any Dragon World deck, it does something that a lot of Dragon World decks have not gotten. Batzz X-Link. In case you don't know, you may only cast this card if cards on your field have attacked 3 or more times during this turn. Link attacks only count as 1. Counter. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Put 1 from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your gauge, and you gain 1 life. So this lets you add a card to your hand. It lets you gain 2 gauge and gain a life. It is amazing. If you are playing Thunder Empire bots or any Dragon World deck, this card should be in there, period. At 4 of. I'm currently looking for 2 more to play 4 in my 5th Omni deck. This card, guys, I cannot express to you how broken and good this card is. You can use it when you're at 1 gauge, add your impact to your hand, the other 2 cards go to the gauge, and then you can cast your impact. Amazing. One of the best cards in Dragon World, period. Next, we play 3 copies of Heaven Sunshine. Heaven Sunshine is a card that I tested and found that I actually really, really love. Cast cost is pay 1 life. Destroy a monster on your opponent's field. If you do, call up to 1 Dragon World or Guardian monster of the same size as that monster from your deck by paying its call cost and shuffle your deck. So if your opponent, this works really well in the mirror match, but say your opponent has a size 1 on the field, pay 1 life, kill it, and then call a size 1 from your deck. If they have a size 2 on the field, pay 1 life, kill it, and call Batzz from your deck. So really just a real good toolbox here. It can search out whatever you need for your OTK or your attempt to OTK. And then finally, this last slot, I kind of went back and forth on what to do. Was I going to just play more shields? But I decided to go with 2 copies of a Distinguished Replenisher from the trial deck. This card is just a good 2 of, just as a security policy, and it's not like gaining gauge is a bad thing. When you cast this card, you can only cast it if you have a Thunder Empire monster on your field, but when you cast it, you get to place the top 3 cards of your deck into the gauge, and you gain 1 life. So it's only a 2 of, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. And then lastly, we play 4 copies of Thunder Lance X Tempest Buster. You can only cast this card if you have attacked at least 3 times during your turn. Link attacks count as 1. Pay 3 gauge and deal 5 damage to your opponent, and the damage cannot be reduced. They can't nullify this impact, and they cannot be revived if this card would put their life to 0. I cannot express how broken this card is. If you're playing bots, do yourself a favor and max out on this card, because you will. This deck OTKs like crazy, guys, and this is pretty much the. Because with this card, you essentially only have to deal 5 damage to your opponent, and if they know what they're going up against when they play Thunder Empire, they are going to they have to guard themselves early, because if you can. There have been times where, like, when I'm starting my attack phase, this is what the field looks like. Attack, +1 crit here. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, cast. I mean, it is insane, guys, how quick this deck can just kill somebody. It is easily the most aggressive deck Dragon World has ever done. And there's just so much that your opponent has to prepare for. And this is one of the cards that they can't really do anything about. The only thing they can really do about is try and keep themselves at high life for as long as they can. But that can be very hard when you have a deck where you can attack as many times as you can. And this deck is going to get very, very good with set 2, and it's literally right around the corner, which I will be doing an updated deck profile on it again. But I just wanted to share before the next set drops, this is how I've been playing the deck, and I've had very, very much success with it. Can't express how much I love bots. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I always like to hear your thoughts. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you already haven't done so. Please also feel free to share this video with a friend if you think they will enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.